Every day of your life, you move through systems of power that other people made. Do you sense them? Do you understand power? Do you realize why it matters? In a democracy, power is supposed to reside with the people. Therefore, learning where power comes from is key to being effective, being taken seriously, and not being taken advantage of. In this speech, I will talk about where power comes from and what you can do to express it. Let's start with a simple definition. Power is the ability to make others do what you want them to do. Of course, this plays out in all areas of life, from family to the workplace to our relationships. Our focus is on the civic arena, where power means getting a community to make the choices and to take the action you want. There are three main sources of civic power. First, there is physical force and a capacity for violence. Control of the means of force, whether in the police or militia, is power at its most primal. The second form of power is state action, government. This is the use of law and bureaucracy to compel people to do or not do certain things. In a democracy, for example, we the people, theoretically, the government is power through elections. In a dictatorship, however, state power emerges from a threat of force, not the concept of the governed. And so the third source of power is numbers. A vocal mass of people creates power by expressing a collective intensity of interest and by asserting legitimacy. Think of the Arab Spring or the rise of the Tea Party. Crowds count. These are the three main sources of power and what power is. So, what rules do you set up so that a few people do not accumulate too much power and so that they cannot enshrine their privilege in policy? That's the question of democracy. Whether you get what you want depends on how adept you are with power, which finally brings us to the question of what you can do to become more powerful in daily life. Here, it's useful to think in terms of literacy. Your initiative is to read and write power. Try to steer society in a series of texts. Learn to express yourself in an authentic voice. This is citizenship. In this short speech, I have talked about where power comes from and what you can do to express it. Although power seems like a subject unrelated to us, remember this. Power plus character equals a great citizen, and you have the potential to become one. Thank you.